Yes, it's official. I wanted to let you know that I quit Amazon. Now, you might think it's because I was being overworked. I mean, Amazon has a reputation. But nope, I actually had good work-life balance. So why'd I leave after 4 years? And no, it wasn't for more money, and no, it's not because I'm going full-time on YouTube. Though hey, I like your energy. It's actually because I found a new tech job that fixes my 5 biggest complaints with Amazon. And today, I'm gonna share with you exactly what they were to help you decide if this could be a job for you. Welcome back to the cast. Today I'm going to tell you why I left my Amazon software engineering job. And if you like videos on how to build community and find meaning in the world of tech, do subscribe to my channel because that is what it's all about. Now I'm going to preface this by saying that this is my experience with the company and the specific team that I was on. I'm sure you guys know that Amazon is huge, so this does not apply to everyone or every team within Amazon, but it has been my direct experience and those of some of my friends as well. I mentioned that I had good work-life balance at Amazon. This also came with the fact that I also felt like I was making very low impact, and this was my first complaint with the job. I worked in an internal team, so our customers were other Amazon employees. And although I did not have to deal directly with working on Amazon.com, which is the consumer website that you guys are probably familiar with, that would have been a lot more work. It would have been a lot more rewarding as well. Because I was on the internal team, it really didn't feel like I was doing all that much. Sometimes I would spend days working on a button that I knew that only 1 or 2 people were ever going to use. And that button would eventually get replaced by a list, and that list would get replaced by a page, and then eventually I know that that page is in works to get replaced by another page. That's not always what happened, but it did feel like the work that I was doing was somewhat busy work, and eventually I feel like everything is going to get automated by AI anyway, because tech. But in general, it just didn't feel like very impactful work. Because we're also engineers, we're very, very far away from the customers in general, and at a big company like Amazon, that is extremely magnified. And as an engineer, you really don't get to work with the customer at all. So it was really hard to see the impact of anything that I was doing. It didn't help that there were other platforms also within AWS that were kind of doing the same thing that my team was. So it's almost like our team was competing with another team within Amazon to do certain things that we could just combine and make things easier. So all in all, it just felt like very low impact despite the amount of work that I was doing. My second complaint was that it was pretty much all remote my entire 4 years that I was there. The first couple were COVID. You might be thinking, how are you remote? Amazon has a return to office policy. And yes, that's been active for the last year. So technically I do go to the office. But when I was going to the office, I would just be bringing my laptop, going to the office, picking a random floor in the elevator, picking a random desk on that floor, and just plopping down my laptop and joining a meeting with the rest of my team. No one was there with me. Most of my team is in Dallas or Seattle, and I rarely got to talk to them or see them in person. Now, remote work is great because you can kind of run errands, do laundry, maybe make breakfast in the middle of the day while you're at home. But when you're going to the office and you don't really get to interact with your coworkers, it makes it really hard to learn and exchange ideas. I'm also a very social person, so again, this may not apply to everyone, but I like to see the people that I'm working with. I like to talk to them in person. Honestly, I just couldn't take it anymore. Just me and the laptop all day, all night, all week. It's too much. I need to have a human being sitting on my right and my left that I can talk to for 5 minutes, at least every couple hours while I'm getting coffee or something, for me to really be locked in and enjoy work. And work friends are really important to me, especially because I'm such an extrovert. And if you want to learn more about making work friends, especially in the world of big tech, do check out my last video on the fastest and most efficient way to make work friends in big tech. I did it at Amazon when my entire team was not in the office. You can do it too. There was also a little bit of office inequality that transpired because there's this one senior engineer on our team, let's call him Olev. And everyone wants FaceTime with Olev, right? Because Olev knows everything about our code, and he just knows a lot in general about computer science and Java and the languages that we work with. So everyone's trying to fight for FaceTime with this guy. And I once joined a daily catch-up meeting with the engineers, and they were like, oh, I was talking to Olev, and we think that we should do XYZ for this new product that we're launching. And in my mind, I'm thinking, how are you talking to this guy? He's like booked out. I tried to book a meeting with him. And I learned later that they had gotten this FaceTime because they're both in the same office office. So naturally, when they pass by each other, they get to talk to each other about work stuff, non-work stuff, but they're getting to exchange ideas that I wasn't getting to do because my team wasn't actually in my office. I want to be able to turn to my coworker and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, do you know how to fix this issue? And I'm not always going to be asking for help. I'll also be helping out. But it's nice to have someone to just talk to about your day, whether that be work related or not work related. And I really wanted that and was not getting that at Amazon. Another thing is that I'm pretty young, even though 27 doesn't feel young to me anymore. I technically am young and I want to explore more roles in the world of tech. I don't know if I'm totally married to software engineering yet. Things like product management is very interesting. Sales engineering, working with the customers. Again, I'm a social person. I didn't really get to experiment a lot in my role at Amazon because I was a software engineer. I would get a feature to work on. Once I was done with that, I would get another feature. It's not very easy to move around and you're already getting a lot of work anyway. And that's just because it's such a big established company. You tend to feel kind of siloed in your role. I don't know what I'm doing here, but you feel siloed no matter what role you're in because you just have so much work that you're expected to do that work very efficiently and then move on to the next task. Now, if you're later into your career or you're sure about what you want to do, you're very sure that you want to be an engineer, product manager, and you just want to have your stable work and log off and just go back to doing that the next day, that's totally fine. I'm at a place right now where I want to explore a little bit. So my new job at a smaller tech company is going to be a lot more fulfilling for that because I'll be able to work as an engineer, but also get my hands dirty in a little bit of the other roles. And that way I'll be able to learn if this is actually what I want to do, or actually I think I'd be a better product manager or a better sales engineer. Now, a lot of this stuff just comes standard with working at any big established company, and Amazon is no exception. Another issue I had with Amazon, because it was such a big established company, is all of the red tape. The red tape is a mixed bag because there's so many standardized procedures and processes that you have to follow to get anything done. Now that's great because it's clearly defined, and once you join initially, you have a roadmap that you can clearly follow, and it lowers the chances of having like a big mistake or a bug that totally breaks the entire system. Although it's funny because AWS literally just did go out like 2 weeks ago. Some of this red tape, however, especially as a developer, I'm a little biased. It's kind of overkill and it really just bogs down the entire process. Say I need to build a new feature, a new API that will take 2 to 3 months for the security team to fully approve. And I have to do all this work to get it approved. And so I can't get this feature out for the next 3 months, even though our customers need it now. Again, there's a lot of pros to this, which is that you're making sure that whatever you're building is completely approved and safe and legitimate. But as a young developer, I think what I want right now is to just fast track my growth. I want to learn, I want to build, I want to make mistakes, and I want to build quickly. And with all this red tape, it just was not happening. Again, this is an issue at most big companies. So know that if you are trying to go to a big company, you will encounter some red tape. And that is why I'm so excited to transition to a smaller company in the future. And this brings me to my 5th complaint with working at Amazon. After 4 years, it was just slow growth. I had hit some type of plateau because I had already learned all of the processes at Amazon and how things work, but I wasn't getting the freedom because of feeling siloed in my specific role because of all the red tape with creating. And as a result, I kind of stopped growing. I was still building things, but I felt like I was just getting handheld and I was following procedures, and there was a little bit of free will involved, but due to disconnect with the team, which wasn't helped with the fact that we were remote, I just felt like my growth was really starting to stagnate. And as a software engineer, again, early in my career, I really just need to fast track my growth by building, trying out different roles to see if they'd be a good fit for me, because that's how I think I can be my best version of an engineer or a tech worker in general. And a bonus complaint I'll throw in there with my job at Amazon was care. I was missing the care aspect of working at Amazon. I kind of stopped caring about the work because of the low impact. Because of the lack of social interaction with my coworkers, I stopped caring as much. But my new job, which will be a smaller company and actually technically a startup company, I'm very excited because I think it might bring the care aspect back. In general, I think a startup that I think actually could be of value in the world and has not fully exercised that value yet, that is more exciting to me because I can add value and help bring the company there. At least that will be a little bit more exciting and get me to care more than I did at a big already established company at Amazon. So there you have it, all the complaints and gripes that I had with my big tech software engineering job at Amazon and how they gave me the strength and motivation after 4 years to break off the golden handcuffs and finally quit. It was not easy and it took so long. I'm probably going to be resigning, and it still kind of hurts because I'm really missing that paycheck right about now. I think rent is due this week and I have that vacation and gym to pay for and all of the new furniture that I was gonna buy. But I'm still super glad that I had the courage to do it. I hope you were able to learn from this video and get a good sense of whether you still think you could be a good fit at a big tech company like Amazon. And you totally could be, because we could be completely different people or at different stages in our life. But I wanted to share my experience so you could better manage your expectations going into it. And if you're still curious or worried about the work-life balance at Amazon, especially when it comes to being on call, do check out my video on a realistic day in the life of an Amazon on-call engineer, where you get an inside look at all the action. Okay, bye.